So let's start with the session. Let's have our discussion in the meanwhile. Okay, so we're discussing the surveying and further topics. So this is the first technical subject you might have read in your bachelor's. Okay, so what is the need of a survey? What is the need of a survey? So making a short here, the surveying is having a easy weightage of around 6 months. Okay, it varies plus or minus two, depending upon the institute who are setting the question. Okay, so this is having almost an average weightage of around 6 months. Okay, so comparing the subject, so we don't have so much technical idea as like structural engineering, as like geotech. So here, very basic idea. Okay, so whatever we are going to do in the surveying is just next level of a marking mason. Okay, so we are not going to do a miracle here in the survey. Okay, so just a next level of a marking mason in the site. Okay, so the marking mason on the side, they used to perform almost 50% of the concepts whatever we are discussing in the survey. Okay, so balance of the 50% is the total. Okay, the person who is handling the total session, he is going to so perform the corresponding operations. Okay, so well, see the case is so if I'm just putting a question, so don't think about whether the so whether whatever you're giving an answer whether it is right or wrong. So if it is right, okay, so it's good. You are at some level. Okay, so you can groom further. If you're wrong, you are getting a chance to correct your statement. Okay, so that is exactly required for this competitive examination. So the competitive examination perspective, so you can't do whatever you are doing in your semester examination. Just 2 night or 2 days study is not enough for the examination, the competitive examination. Let it be anything. Let it be anything. So maybe an IAS or maybe an IES, maybe a GATE or maybe a state level examination. So you are supposed to learn the entire topics. So whatever, almost 80 to 90% of the topics, whatever you are going to, whatever you have learned in the 4 years of your bachelor's degree. Okay, so then clubbing up all the things and just going and answering is not a simple task. Okay, the first and foremost thing is so you have to learn the facts. You have to understand and learn the facts. Okay, so usual process here it is. So as my advice is to just take a 2022 civil engineering gate question paper. Let it be a morning session or evening session. Just go through once. Just go through once. Okay. So and then apart from that, so 2023. Okay. So the IIT whoever is handling the 2023 gate. So IIT Kharagpur is going to handle the this gate 2023. Okay, so then just go back and see. So in which year they have set the question paper. So those questions will just have a view. Okay, so then you will be getting an idea. So what the examiner is actually expecting from you. So in that case, so you'll be getting an overview about so in which subject how much question is coming. So what is the depth of question from each subject? You just sit and read. If you're the first time, if you're not getting anything, so read for second time or read for third time. So you will be getting something to be done. You'll be getting something to be done. So how much you are putting effort, the same will be coming out as a result in our examination. Okay. So then once you are understanding, okay, once you are getting some smart of a view about the previous year questions, then you will be getting some idea about this gate exam. What is this gate examination? So what the exact examiner is going to expect from you. So then, so you have to start preparing. The preparation has different views now. Okay. So initially, so you have to attend some, you have to clarify the concept. Okay. So attend a session, so refer books. Okay. So referring books, it takes a quite larger period. So attending a session from from the institute, so you'll be getting the crisp content. Okay. So for example, so if you want to learn geotechnical engineering, if you want to learn a surveying, then you have to, okay, survey 1 and survey 2, you have to read the entire book. So it hardly takes 2 months of time. So so here what we are actually doing, so we are spending just 25 hours. Okay, we are learning what are the concepts which are oriented to the gate examination. So from where we are getting a lot of questions. In such orientation, if you are preparing, so then the first thing, it is a smart one. You can cover the entire subject in a short span of time. So comparatively, a short span of time. So spending 2 months for a subject and spending 25 hours for a subject. Just compare. So how much time you are saving. Okay. So then after preparing, the thing is, as I stated already, you have to prepare 10 to 14 subjects for this examination. Okay, so then periodic revision is required once you have completely prepared. So periodic revision, then practice, then you have to appear for the examining, okay, the test. So then you have to self-analyze. So whatever the wrong thing you are doing. So maybe while working out the problems in the session, so while working out the previous year questions, while working out, while solving some different questions, or while attending the test, whatever the whatever the fault you are finding, so whatever the mistakes you are doing, so you should not do the same mistakes in the examination. So that is the actual application of your practice. So then be careful in that aspect. Okay, when you're sitting for your gate preparation, don't think the 50% 50% attention is just required. Okay, just enough for the examination. 100% attention, you just keep it with a small short period of time, so you can easily achieve a good score from the gate. But you have to do a very good smart work. Okay, fine. So just to preparing for 14 hours, 16 hours, 18 hours a day is not required. Okay, so just 5 to 8 hours. So there are a lot of students who has got good work just preparing 3 to 4 hours so in the fourth year itself. There are a lot of examples. It depends upon your application. So how you are applying, how you are spending time, what is the importance you are giving to the corresponding preparation. Okay, so let's move into the survey. Okay, what is the objective of a surveyor? What is the objective of a surveyor? There are two major objectives for a surveyor. Okay, so he has to fix a point. Has to fix the point. So for example, you are having a plan. You are having a plan. So these are columns. So you are supposed to mark for the column, or it may be the footing marking. So in such scenario, so our application is, so our job is to mark the different points in the field. So I want to mark the different points in the field, fix the points. So we are doing all the work on the paper. So then, and then applying these things on the field, our primary work is we have to fix the exact points. Okay, so that is our primary role. So if you just to look into the, so what is the work of a surveyor? So then he will be taking the total station, and he'll be roaming here and there. Okay, so the initial process. So in the site, in a site, so he'll be just placing a single column called as a marking column. This is a reference point. This is the reference point. This is also called as a marking column. So usually in the smaller projects, what we used to do, so we used to take a reference as a adjacent building wall, okay, some tree, okay, some fixed structures. Okay, if it is a small scale. If it is a large scale building, then at some point, okay, where we are not going to disturb at all. So in the corresponding point, I will be making a small marking column. With respect to the corresponding marking column, so all other points are defined. All other points are defined. Okay, so fixing the points with respect to some reference. With respect to some reference. This is the basic role of a surveyor, and this is the basic application of this surveying. Okay, so another one is calculating the, okay, so calculating the quantities. Calculating the quantities. Okay, so coming to this, calculating the quantities. Okay, so finding out area, finding out volume. Okay, all those things also a part of a surveyor's role. It is also a part of a surveyor's role. Okay, so these are the two major applications. Okay, so for performing these processes, for performing these two applications, so we used to use a lot of instruments. Okay, so we are not going to much bother about what is what is the advanced instrument. So those things are not required. Okay, so electromagnetic distance measurement is the advanced instrument. So no question we are going to get from those areas. Okay, so as usual, they are going to corner chain surveying, they are going to corner leveling, so theodolite, tachymeter, so from the errors, photogrammetric survey. Okay, so only those areas let's discuss. So we are not, so the first thing here it is So there are a lot of students who are new to the batch. So you have to be very clear. So my teacher, so when I started my preparation, so he has just started the session with this quote. Okay, what to study, so what not to study. So you should know this very clearly, because we are having very less time. So it's not a very less time. Okay, so we have to use our time effectively. We should not use whatever the time so we are putting for the examination on this spot. So we have to effectively apply my time on this area, so this is the okay, also meaning of my slogan. So what I have to perform exactly. Fine. So moving, primary classification. Well, okay, the classification is divided, the surveying is the basic classification of surveying is of two types, namely plain surveying. The other one is geodetic surveying. Geodetic surveying. Okay. So what is this plain surveying? What is the geodetic surveying? So what is exactly happening here? See, the certain points about the earth. Certain points about the earth. The shape of earth is a oblate spheroid. See, it is not a exact round, okay? It is not an exact circular. Okay. See, the polar radius along the poles. So along the poles, the diameter is so 12713.168 kilometer along the poles. So whereas along the equator, it is 12756.602 kilometer. Okay, the polar radius is the equatorial radius is greater than the polar radius. So, but for our calculations, so what we are exactly preferring? So we are taking some average value. Average radius of Earth is taken as a 6370 kilometer. 6370 kilometer. So whereas this primary classification, it is based on the shape of Earth, based on the curvature of Earth. Exactly, this classification is based on the curvature of Earth. If the curvature of Earth is considered in the geodetic surveying, the curvature of Earth is not considered in plane surveying. The curvature of Earth is considered in the geodetic surveying, whereas the curvature is not considered in the plane surveying. See, so this is a shape of the Earth. This is the shape of the Earth. See, if I am performing, so if I am doing a project for a smaller dimension, So for example, so I'm going for a construction of a house. Okay, the construction of the house, what would be the size? What would be the actual size of the building? So hardly, it will be something around a 30 meter by 30 meter. I'm just taking some bigger size. Okay, 30 meter by 30 meter. So on this curved surface, if it is just 30 meter, if it is just 30 meter, there is no need of considering the curvature. So I can just assume it as a straight line. If it is a very small value, if it is a very small value, then I can consider the shape of the earth as a straight line. But if I'm going for some bigger projects, I'm just constructing a cement factory which is going to a length for 100 kilometer by 100 kilometers. So I'm going to do a mining activity. So it is going to extend for 100 kilometer by 100 kilometer. In such scenario, this curvature matters. Okay, so I hope you can understand. So in which area this plane surveying is applied, in which area this geodetic surveying is applied. Okay, so for smaller projects, so we used to go for a plane surveying. For large projects, and in which accuracy is required in those areas, so we'll be going with the geodetic surveying. This plane surveying is applied only for smaller projects. So what are the conditions of this smaller projects? See, if the area of the project is less than 250 kilometers square, in such applications, up to this much area, so I can just assume, okay, I can just assume the surface of the earth is a, okay, it's a linear, it is not a planar. Okay, so and also they are just defining if the length, okay, if length of each side of the project should be less than 18.2 kilometer. So what they're exactly saying in the sense, okay, if it is 18.2 kilometer, so if I am measuring this as a, okay, as a curve, okay, I'm just measuring it as a length, as a line. So difference between these two is just 10 mm. So the length, the size of the project or the size is restricted to 18.2 kilometer. So these two values, you just have an idea. So in ESC, they used to ask questions from this area. So what is the possible, okay, what is the possible area of the building up to which we can apply, we can use this plane surveying? What is the maximum length of the line which can be drawn using this plane surveying? These are some common questions. Okay, so because nowadays, so if you just refer last 2-3 years question papers, almost from 2018. Okay, so we used to get at least 3 to 5 questions from ESC. Okay, as a theory part. As a theory part, whatever theory they have asked there, the same question has been repeated here. So some part of those problems and sums, so we are just including in this area also. Okay, so the easy going. Okay, okay. See, whatever the surveying we are doing, okay. So finally, we are going to just analyze this by making the entire project into small triangles. By making the entire project into a small piece of triangles. Okay. So whatever the triangle formed in the plane surveying is a planar triangle. So whereas here, by considering the curves, so whatever the triangle here formed is a spherical triangle. Spherical triangle. Okay, so whereas here it is a planar triangle. So you can just view the shape. Okay, the lines are linear here, there it is the curve. So the sum of angles of the triangle, planar triangle, is equal to 180 degree. The sum of angles of the triangle, whichever is formed with the straight lines or the plane lines. Okay, the straight lines, so which are called as okay, planar triangle. Okay, so under the sum of angles of this planar triangle is 180 degree. So whereas in the geodetic surveying, okay, so the triangles formed are nothing but spherical triangle. Whereas the sum of angles of this spherical triangle, the sum of angles of the spherical triangle is always greater than 180 degree. The sum of angles of the spherical triangle is always greater than 180 degree. Okay. So and one more point. So if I'm making a triangle, I'm just making a triangle whose area is 195.5 kilometers square. This is the area of the triangle. Okay. So if I make this a triangle as a planar, similarly for this area, so I'm also making a spherical triangle. I'm just making a spherical triangle. The difference between the sum of the angles of this planar triangle and this spherical triangle. Okay, the difference in sum of the values for this specified area is 1 second. The difference will be equal to 1 second. So these are the data you want to remember with respect to this the plane surveying and geodetic surveying. Okay. See, one more point is the vertical lines. Okay, the vertical lines. See, so the vertical lines represent the line given by the plumb bob. So in case of a plane survey, okay, so the plumb lines, plumb lines are nothing but, okay, so the vertical lines here, as we are not considering the curvature, okay, okay, so the vertical lines are nothing but the lines represented by the plumb bob. Okay, so but whereas in the geodetic surveying, okay, these vertical lines are curved lines. The vertical lines are curved lines. So I think you can just imagine the lines which are drawn in the white color are nothing but curved lines. So it represent the vertical lines in case of a geodetic surveying, whereas in the plane surveying, so we'll be considering the vertical lines as the line represented by the plumb bob. Okay. So there's a vertical lines we can just deal in the leveling. Okay, I think in those areas. So we'll be just discussing about what is the correction for curvature, correction for refraction, and these curvatures. Okay, the actual shape of the Earth under whatever we are looking in the leveling instrument. All these things differs. Okay, so we have a detailed discussion over that. Just have a note of the points. These vertical lines. Okay, so as we stated already, the curvature of Earth. So for smaller dimensions, I can just use the line as a straight line. But for a longer dimension, I have to use this as a curved line. Okay, so that's exactly what is happening. Okay, so the vertical, the plane under this geodetic, considering the curvature, not considering the curvature. But similarly, okay. So if you look into the latitude part, so whatever the thing longitude part, horizontal, the longitude, those things we have already discussed. This vertical line is with respect to this latitude part. So going to this latitude part, so what is happening? So in the planar, so in plane survey, we are considering that as a vertical lines. Whereas in geodetic survey, we are considering that as a curved lines. So whatever is exactly happening. Okay. So So x-axis, y-axis with respect to x, we have discussed as a first point. With respect to y, we have just discussed here as a vertical lines. The same case, nothing different. Okay.